Chapter 39. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried in a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled, and I got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him, and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made to prosper. This is the beginnings of some of the things that we see about Joseph. Joseph is a tremendous example of the right things, of doing the right things for the right reasons. And he's sold into slavery. He can't change that. He knows that. So he goes to Potiphars. He's got two choices, I suppose. He can decide he's either going to slough off and do as little as he can, or he's going to do the best he can. He does the best he can, and the Lord works with him to prosper everything he does. And it's so good that Potiphar sees that and recognizes him and moves him up from being just a slave to being the overseer of the house. And it basically says Potiphar didn't even know what he had. He didn't even bother to check. All he knew was what he ate. That was the only things he knew. Joseph could have been doing anything with this money. Anything with the estate, buying, selling, cheating him, anything. Potiphar trusted him implicitly. However, Potiphar's wife was another matter. She wanted Joseph to lie with her. She wanted him to commit adultery with her. And this was not a one-time thing. She spoke to him day by day. Joseph turned her down, said, I cannot do this. This is against what your husband has done. This is a sin against God. And she didn't like that. One day he goes in and it says she grabbed his garment. We have no idea precisely what it was. but an item of clothing, obviously. And if there was nobody else in the house, maybe he was getting a bath. Maybe it was a towel of some sort, type of description. And she came up, surprised him, grabbed it, said, lie with me. He said no. He ran away to get something more to cover himself, and she had something incriminating evidence. And she was so mad that this guy would not do that she was ready to have him killed, because if a slave, it said to mock me. Well, the word is rape, not mock. Humiliate would be an idea of a similar sort of word, but rape is the context. And she was ready to just have this young man killed because he wouldn't do what she wanted to do. Potiphar, however, had the power to just kill this guy outright. He was a slave. He could do with him whatever he wanted. But he put him in jail. And when he goes to jail, and of course, this is amazing. A slave who tried to rape the wife of an Egyptian was worthy of the penalty of death. No appeal, no questions asked. Nobody would have worried about a thing. I think Potiphar understood his wife. And that's why Joseph went to jail. Joseph goes to jail. They see all over again in the jail that Joseph knows what he's doing. He's probably looking after the welfare of other people. He moves up. Pretty soon, Joseph's in charge of the whole jail. They have a guy who's overall in charge underneath the Pharaoh, or underneath somebody who's underneath the Pharaoh, but Joseph does it all. Now here's the point. This is the crux of the matter. Wherever Joseph is, he is trusting in the Lord. He is obedient to the Lord. He's honoring his responsibility to the Lord to be the very best person he can be in every single way of his life. That is recognized because he's doing the very best. God's blessing him. Because God's blessing him, he is being advanced, and that makes his situation better. That gives him opportunities to do more things, gives him opportunity to be recognized for doing things. Joseph is an example worthy of emulation, worthy of doing the right reason for the right, doing the right thing for the right reason, just like Joseph did. That's the most important thing.